This week we're reading The Reluctant Heiress, or The Magic Flute, by Eva Ibbotson, otherwise known as A Man Who Can Plan.
Hi readers, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, the book pod where we celebrate the heroines we love
and roast the ones we don't. We'll find you the best 5-star reads, the spiciest romance, and save you from the overhyped DNFs.
If it's romance, we'll read it.
Or watch it.
We like every flavor. So grab your favorite drink and get cozy. Welcome to Season 4. I tried to find this book on Kindle, and it does not come up as The Reluctant Heiress.
What?
It comes up as The Magic Flute, also the name of an opera.
No.
Yeah, that was the original title.
No.
No, you're right.
No.
Like, misleading. Like, I don't care about a flute.
I think if this was called The Magic Flute, I would not have picked it up randomly at Half Price Books.
So when I was doing a little bit of research on her books, I think these were originally published for adult readers.
Oh.
And rebranded as YA. And YA would not read The Magic Flute, but they would certainly read The Reluctant Heiress.
Oh, crazy, marketing, publishing. The drama that we're experiencing now was still a thing in the fucking 80s. What?
Exactly. And this is also, so 1982 for this book. This is Eva Ibbotson?
Yes.
Yeah?
I feel like I should tell the lore behind these books. I was going through Half Price Books and I was like, I need some stuff to stick on my shelf that I know I've probably read before or I probably will enjoy just based on the cover, the title, the author, etc. I went to historical romance on a whim, and at this point I don't think I'd even read really any historical romance. I was like, let me pretend that I'm Jordan. Let me see if I can psychic energy ESPN, find a book. And I pulled The Reluctant Heiress off the shelf and I was like, I see this Barbie coded gal on the cover. It looks identical to the Barbie covers of Throne of Glass by Sarah Maas. I was like, know what? This has some good juju about it. I don't know what it is. We're going to try it. It's out on my shelf for probably a year and a half.
You've had it
3
that
years.
long?
Dog. I bought this when we started the podcast.
Oh my God.
And it was just sitting there. And then on a whim, I was like, I have a young child. I should read in front of my child. And I picked that up and then I did nothing for the rest of the day. He's like, Ma, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. This is so fun.
It's so rare to have an organic book to discover.
Crazy.
You're either being fed by, insert social media or, endless browsing or scrolling through Kindle Unlimited. So for you to just be like, yeah, this book looks good. That's traditional book hunting.
Yes. And I feel like that's why I have a special place because I had, this will publish in the future, I think. I'll do a pick of the week of another one of Eva Ibbotson's books that's almost copy-pasted the plot, and I enjoyed that one just as much. It was fun. It's just they're charming, they're endearing, they're fun. It's a good time. I enjoyed myself the entire time. I laughed a couple times. This will have a special place in my heart. And I can say I read a book that was written in the 80s, which crazy.
So I'm shocked that you enjoyed it and read it that quickly for an older book. And then when you were describing this book originally to me, I'm like, that sounds exactly like something I would read. And dude, just the same, you loaned me the book and I did nothing but read this fucking book for a day.
I don't know what it is. She sprinkled crack in there. She's like, you're gonna love this shit. Watch this.
It's good writing. It's good pacing the way good writing used to be. But I will say, I think there's some things we should establish about the book itself and about the author. So kind of going into it what to expect and what not to expect. So again, published in 1982. It's a little bit older. There's no spice. Mm-hmm. So this is a romance, but it is very, very clean. So if that's what you're looking for, this will not be your book.
No.
The author was born in 1925, which is wild. And she was also born in Vienna, and that's the setting of this book. I think one of the aspects of the book that draws you in is everything is so visual. You read these descriptions and you feel like you're there. The person knows exactly what they're talking about because she was.
Yeah, she's seen this before.
But as someone who was born in 1920, lived through World War II and lived through everything the aftermath of that, there are some cultural things,
just a little,
some gender norms that wouldn't fly today. There was some comments on ethnicities and classes that felt a little icky if you examine it a little too closely. So I think as you would with classic literature, you have to treat it as a product of its time and just accept that this was the norms then. They're not the norms now, and it shouldn't detract from your enjoyment of the book.
I will say, too, that there's a lot of actual history references in this. And as y'all know, I am not a history girly. If I could make my way through it, like, don't let that put you off. But there's definitely the first couple pages where I was like, oh, I am not the target audience for this. I don't know what any of this means.
This is an unusual setting, too, for the book because it takes place after World War I and before World War II. So the world is not in a great place. Yeah, I don't think I've read too much that takes place during this time. Like Downton Abbey is set in this time period.
Oh, that is true. Dang, I didn't even think about that.
But it is kind of depressing, and then you're going through a lot of world of changes as society transitions from like old governments and monarchies and rigid class systems to like, oh, suddenly everyone's equal or almost equal or wants to be equal.
I will say there's something kind of approachable or charming or like understandable about this time period, though, because I do feel like some of the Regency romance that I've read, I like get it from like a consumption of media perspective, but I don't really like understand some of the nuances maybe. And if I read like an actual Regency romance that was like legit, there would probably be a lot that would go over my head. But at least with this time period with the reluctant heiress, there's things that feel a little bit more modern, like the classes are starting to break down and they're still like the older folk still like abide by it, but you can see in the younger people that they're like, no, like this is the new world order, everyone's equal. So you get it. You kind of like understand it. There's still some like weird things that you're like, why the fuck did old people do that? Like, whatever. But most of it, you're like, okay, I, as a person in 2026, can conceptualize this. We're good.
There are some very similar like movies and some books that if you're familiar with them, you will know exactly kind of where you're sitting at. I think the first one is The Illusionist, which has Edward Norton and Jessica Biel. If you've never seen that movie, it's a romance, but it's a period romance and it's set in the same time frame. So it's phenomenal. Highly recommend doing that. If you end up liking this book, watch that movie. I haven't read Rebecca, Daphne du Maurier.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's also the same time frame. It may be a little earlier. Under the Stars of Paris by Mary Burchell. That was pick of the week, I think, last year. Same writing style. And that actually fits because that author was writing during the 60s. This author was probably writing during the 60s. Yeah. It was published in the 80s.
Interesting.
So now we have to do an exercise. I need you to look up The Sound of Music, and specifically Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music.
Andrews. Oh, that's our girl.
Yeah. That haircut, right?
That's literally her.
Yes.
Like down to the hair color, cut, who she is. Wow, damn. Okay.
So I'm convinced that The Sound of Music was an inspiration, or maybe this book was an inspiration. I don't know. But if you liked The Sound of Music, the plot, the characters, like art, like Julie Andrews' character in The Sound of Music loves music. Obviously, it's the name of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
She meets a handsome, wealthy, former sailor, businessman type. Let's probably actually look up the main dude from Sound of Music.
Can I type in main dude or Christopher Plumer?
Yeah, but look at him from the 60s.
Yeah. Okay. Ibbotson writing some fucking Sound of Music fanfic.
Yes, Sound of Music fanfic, I think, is what this is.
No, I dig it. I respect it. I'm a fangirl, fanfic girly too. I get it.
So there you go. If you need some imagery to tack onto your reading experience.
Because is The Sound of Music set in Austria?
Yep. Set in Austria right before Hitler invades.
Oh, okay. So,
yep.
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Because this is the castle that our gal grew up in. Fairferson Castle.
Oh, that's a better attempt than I could have made.
I feel like if you just think of the quintessential, like Switzerland, Australia, Southern Germany, green grass, big ass mountains, you got it done.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what this is.
Okay, cool. We're done. That's the setting.
There you go. This is where we open.
Yes.
Kind of. She had an interesting and different lead to the story than what I was expecting. When there's a bit of like mysticism going on. So we're introduced to this idea of like love twins born under the same star sign.
I didn't love it.
But it felt out of place and kind of weird.
Yep. But I just accepted that that's some like weird, whatever.
It's like 2 sentences in the first chapter and then it reappears at the very end of the book and that's all you need to know.
Yep. And it's not even important.
No, it's not. It doesn't change anything.
It's like
just
after the fact.
It's like, oh yeah, they're destined to be together. Cool.
I just assumed it was some kind of like historical relic that I didn't understand.
Yeah, you can kind of discount it. But
Yeah.
unlike at least A Countess Below Stairs, the story opens from the dude's perspective, and we're in third person omniscient.
Yeah.
So you get lots of character perspectives.
Yeah.
So our guy is his name.
God.
It's so bad. He is an orphan. He is kind of abandoned in like the slums of London. He's taken in by an orphanage. This is like the late 1800s is when he was born. And eventually a kind-hearted widow takes him in from the orphanage and they become like inseparable.
I will say I love that the way that this is Eva writes this first beginning thing, because like the orphanage knows that he's gonna be like a crazy ass dude, has, you know, once he's set on something, he's gonna do it. And then it's like she had never met someone, and then she met him and she's like, whoa boy, the world better fucking watch out. It's just so charming. Like you get it. You're like, I know exactly what kind of character he is. I know what kind of character the mom is, like done. But in like 3 sentences, and it's like I know exactly who these people are. Crazy. God, sorry.
Each character has their own identity. It's it's refreshing.
Yeah.
So we kind of learn early on, as you just described, that he is a self-made man. Like he's already doing well. He like gets a scholarship to a well-known college or like upper school.
I don't know anything. Sure.
He's so good at what he does. He just gets basically a free ride everywhere. And he's determined to make something of himself. So he becomes a wealthy businessman. He goes, I think, Austria, like as a young man, he's still in college, like on some sort of field trip or something. And while in Austria, he meets a bunch of debutantes and he meets a beautiful young girl.
Stunning.
Like black hair, blue eyes, Snow White stuff going on. She is British from a well-to-do family, but she's not like she's not an aristocrat.
And she's not super wealthy, but like a little bit to give her some kind of.
Yeah, that. She's beautiful enough that her lack of money, like, it compensates for each other. So he sees this chick and he's like, that is the love of my life. She's amazing. I love her. Let's be together. She's like, sure, you're handsome enough. She's kind of dumb. She takes him home to meet the family. And the family's like, no.
They laugh him out of the room. He's like, you're fucking joking, right? He's like, I want to marry your daughter. They're like, ha, 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 laughs in rich person.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to marry a nobleman or something with her beauty.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, fuck you. Watch me.
Yep. There's something about it. Oh, I love that.
Then World War I happens. All his businesses go on hold. He fights in the war. I think he gets injured, kind of.
I think
somehow.
so. Yeah.
He still becomes successful after the war. So now we're, he's in his 30s. So we've gotten his entire life story in like 2 chapters.
But again, you know exactly what kind of person he is. You know that he has this like trauma event in the past, like so well God, sorry, I'm gonna say that same fucking point so many times, but like like good writing, well-developed, mature writer who can put a story together and you don't have to read 87 million pages of them telling you exactly what you need to be thinking.
And you like the characters. They're interesting. Even the villain, obviously the bitch.
I loved her. It was so, because you hate her, but you love to hate her because you're like, oh God, dog.
Well, now that we are, 20, 30 years in the future, he's made something of himself, and he is now at the point where he's like, all right, well, I've, completed my to-do list for my life. I have all the money in the world. Now it's time to go get the woman that I lost. So he remembers her as this kind of shallow, vain creature, not in his words, but like, oh, she likes pretty things and she likes money and she likes to be accepted by important people. So he decides, I'm going to go buy a castle.
God.
I'm going to buy a castle, throw a week-long party, invite all of the rich titled people so she feels like a princess. I'm even going to set up an opera that we both watched when we were like 20-somethings and recreate our first moments together. And then I'm going to propose, and then we're going to live happily ever after. Because she's a widow.
Yes.
She ended up marrying some, British nobleman. He died during the war. and now she doesn't have a lot of money, but she's still pretty.
There is something about a competent man putting together this
plan?
wacky ass, crazy. Like, you're gonna buy a fucking castle. It's like, thank you for having some initiative. I love this shit. Keep going, buddy.
The level of devotion to not only remember, because he remembers what she was wearing when he met her.
The play that was on, like what she looked like, that she like, and he's like, in my brain forever.
Yep. And he's like, I'm gonna do that for her because I love her. Crazy. So,
talk about romance.
I mean, a man who can plan, that's all the romance we need. So, he goes to Austria, because this is where they met the first time. He finds a castle, and he gets his like secretary and his employees to set up all the contracts. And
I love the secretary.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's just one of those guys that like tags along with a rich put together person, and he's like a puppy dog, and he's like, I would do anything for you.
He's Dr. Watson to Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Dig it.
They go to the castle, and it's like the biggest, best castle in the land, and these two elderly women are all that's left in the castle.
And their pug.
Oh, I forgot about the dog.
Yep.
They are like the Grand Duchess or Countess or something.
Some kind of title.
But they've been living in this castle since like the 1800s, and they were like, all right, I guess we're going to sell our family heritage. Like, all of the estates are getting sold off.
Is this real? That like all of these old like blue-blooded families ran out of cash and they just like...
I would need to confirm, but I'm pretty sure yes.
That's fucking wild. Because that's happening in the backdrop of all of this, that all of these old families, they have like all of this, you know, can trace their ancestry back a bajillion years, and they think that means something, but they have absolutely no money. And so all of these families that kind of get popped up, they all live in shitholes. Like, yeah, it's a castle, but like, it's disgusting and you don't have plumbing and it's like full of cobwebs. Like, okay.
They've only been able to keep like 2 rooms open.
Yeah, it's like you live in a fucking crypt. Yeah, dog.
It's pretty depressing. So he gets the grand tour, and you get all of the cool little comments from the aunts as they're commenting on like the portrait gallery.
This was the Dutch of something something.
He's like, okay, this is nice, cool. All right, can we go? Can I bring in some carpenters to fix this place up? And then they let on the fact that, you know, really it's their grandniece who is the owner of the castle. She is like the Grand Duchess princess who inherited the estate from her mother and father, who are both dead. And she's not there. And the aunts are like, well, she'll get around to it. It'll be fine. They're kind of
we'll send him a letter.
And so initially when I first read this, I was like, oh, she's going to refuse to sell the castle and like there's going to be something here. No. Thankfully, that is not the case. This is kind of where we get the perspective switch, because we've been in his head the entire time. And then we meet Tessa.
I love her. She's just a cute little fucking buttercup, golden retriever, baby girl just trying to do her best.
This was an interesting character because you know right off the bat that she is the lost princess. She's going to go back to this castle and everyone's going to figure out who she is. But in the meantime, she is trying to be equal and make something of herself by working at an opera house, living in a shitty flat for no money. She's not getting paid at all.
She might be a princess, but that doesn't mean that she has to have sense. Girl does not have much going on in the brain department.
No, it's just like smart enough, but at the same time, like she wants everything to be equal. She's like a political moderate,
a Republican or something.
Yeah, for that period. And she's all about championing the lesser and
the arts, the mystical.
Music. Yeah. Except she couldn't do any of this if she wasn't a fucking princess and she didn't have a safety net, which is my like one nitpicky thing about her.
I feel like that's a valid nitpick.
But we learn that she is kind and like almost pretty, but like not overwhelmingly so, like nothing to compete with the bitch.
I love that really the only thing that attracts people's attention about her is this long, beautiful, like to the floor gold hair that she can't cut off because of some like cultural tradition, etc. And so she's like a plain person with stunning hair.
We felt bad.
Dog.
If nothing else looks good, the hair can save a lot.
Yep. All of pregnancy, and then it leaves you postpartum. I love that Tessa is working as an under seamstress. And we're like immediately thrown into the chaos that is an opera house. And I have seen Phantom of the Opera. So it felt exactly like all of the psychotic scenes where there's a bajillion people all running around with their heads cut off. Because they're like trying to put together, a play and it's about to go on, but they like nobody has any money. The main like prima donna is like, I'm gonna quit. Like, this isn't enough money and everything is like wrong and I can't go on this stage. And they're like, no, prima donna, you have to sing. And they're like, "Da, da, 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 da." Everybody's running around. Tessa's trying to help wherever she can in the most like, you need me to go fetch a sandwich? I have one in my pocket. Here you go.
Here's the magical button that the conductor needs to perform.
Oh God, the like Beethoven's.
Yeah, Beethoven's like
left
waistcoat.
button.
Yeah. What I appreciated about Tessa is that her love of music is why she wants to work in the opera house.
Yeah.
But thank God she doesn't have this like hidden singing talent or hidden dancing talent. She knows she's just not there. She just loves music and wants to be immersed in it, which was really, really refreshing because like I don't think I could have handled like hidden princess and hidden singer.
No.
This was the right balance.
Yeah. And it felt like genuine too, because there's definitely books that I've read that's like their one personality shtick. It's like, oh, she just loves music. Sarah Maas, I'm looking at you. But this felt genuine, that it was kind of like an awe, like this is given to us by God kind of thing, or like the mystics have like come to them with inspiration to write these beautiful pieces, and it's like our job, our obligation to pay homage to them. It felt like genuine love, and it's like, okay, I get that for you. But sometimes it's like, oh, sure. I too love pop music.
So unfortunately for Tessa and for everyone who works for the opera company, the company's not doing well.
No.
There's another opera company that's like in competition with them, and they've just been poorly managed. They're picking the wrong operas to play. But this one opera that they picked to do
is devastating.
So there's not subtle foreshadowing going on throughout this book. The opera that they choose to do, I forget which one it is, requires like a Rapunzel style hair to be let out of the tower, except they don't have a wig that matches that and they can't afford to get one.
And there's no human hair available because of the whole like World War I, we just fought a war. Everybody like sold off their hair prior to this to make money, but now you can't find one even if we had the money to buy one.
There's a scene where Tessa, I think, goes to all the convents in the region to ask for hair because it's typically where they get them. And actually, shout out to Sound of the Music. That's what happens to Maria because she's what's the word?
She's a nun?
She is a nun in training. What do they call them? There's a word for that. A novice. Sorry.
I apparently don't know anything about the Sound of Music. What? Interesting. The short hair, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, a la Julie Andrews.
Tessa gets a haircut.
There is just something so sad because I don't know who finds her, but like everybody's like, where's Tessa? Where's Tessa? Blah, blah, blah. People are looking for her. They're like going on with their work. And then they like open the door and she's like on the ground crying. And she's like, that was the only thing that I had that was like beautiful about me. Dog, crushed my fucking heart.
So that scene, actually, the person who finds her is Guy.
That's what it, okay. I was like, I feel like it's Guy, but I don't know if I was making that up.
So he goes to the performance of this opera. It's a success that partially because the hair that they used is amazing. But he watches this opera. He's like, yeah, this is the opera company I want to hire for my week-long celebration. So he goes backstage to find the manager. And then he hears this crying coming from the closet. And he's like, runs it down, opens the door, and he sees this girl. He thinks it's a child because she's small and young. And then he looks at her hair, recognizes the color, and thinks, sweet mother of God, this is where the hair came from. And so she kind of like pulls herself together and is like, it's fine, anything for the opera, but that was my only beauty.
The scene is just like,
I can visualize the scene.
Yeah, and like you can,
and like readers, like we're recording this. For me, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks since I read it.
I read this like 2 months ago.
And like it's still incredibly vivid.
Because there's just something about this scene that like you can tell that he doesn't see her as like a romantic interest, but there's just something so like that she's down on her luck. This is the worst, whatever. And he like finds her and he's like, girl, you'll survive.
He drives her home. He's like, let me take care of you, like not in a creepy way, but in a like,
hey dog,
like you're not walking home by yourself. He drops her off. They have this kind of cute little interaction, and it's very like clean PG. Now you couldn't do that these days.
No, don't get in cars.
But it's a very sweet, like well-meaning. He doesn't view her as like a woman. He views her as like you poor opera employee child. Let me take care of you.
Literally. But they have a moment under the streetlight, though, that she's about to leave, and he kind of grabs her chin, and he's like, I don't think it's the only ugly thing about, or
Oh,
good
yeah.
looking thing about you. Charming!
And then the next day, she goes back to the opera house. She meets the director. She realizes that the company's been hired by this guy. And also, that guy, I'm never going to get tired of saying that.
I love that. Your joy is beautiful.
He has arranged for her to go to the most famous hairstylist in the city to take care of her hair.
Again.
A man who can play.
He read the reviews. He knew. He's like, I need to send her to her. She's the only one of... Guy.
It's so romantic.
Literally. And the fact that he went back to the opera house to then plan all this out and then left extra money because he knew that they're hurting and he can't just trust them to do right by her. He's like, no, you're going to give her this fat bag of cash to fix her hair. The girlies who get it, get it.
Can you imagine if you were having a bad day, you had just gotten a bad haircut and you run into your man, partner, friend, and they're like, I'll take care of that for you. Without you even asking.
This is the romance.
We're losing it over a haircut scene.
Dog, there's something in these fucking historical romance books, dog, that you just have to make those scenes count, and boy, do they.
Meanwhile, we get some perspective switching to the bitch. What's her name?
I don't.
It's a very pretty name.
Yeah.
Suitable for a very pretty woman.
Yeah. I don't know.
But there is nothing going on up there.
No. Well, no, but there is, though. And that's what I think is so love to hate her kind of thing, that she is super shallow, but in that cultivated, I know the 18-step beauty plan that I need to do to maintain this level of beauty. I know all of the ingredients in this 8 serums that I use, and oh, you can't use that ingredient because that mixes with this one and it'll make you red, and I know my exact angles, and I know the shade of blue that matches perfectly with my eyes.
Sounds like an Instagram model.
Yeah, I think that's what's so, because it's not just vapid beauty where she's just beauty just hanging out. It's cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
It's I know exactly what I need to do to look the most beautiful, and that gives me pleasure.
But that is her only driver. That is the defining aspect of her character, is her quest for beauty and wealth and status.
But she thinks about it, though. That's what made it, because otherwise she would just be oh yeah, that's the beautiful, stupid, mean, cruel, whatever. But it's there's something conniving about it, or manipulative, that is just
my initial take on some of the secondary characters, including her, was these feel like caricatures of stereotypes.
I could see that.
Here's a female villain, and here is a mismanager of an opera house, and here is a stereotypical opera singer.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, and with that context of we definitely have people in this age who only care about their appearance and their social media presence and how they think about it. It's their only motivator, but maybe it isn't a caricature. Maybe they're just people.
That's their whole. Don't love that, but yeah, she's a modern day Instagram baddie.
Yeah,
full-time job. She's on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Believe it or not. Switch to her perspective.
Yeah, we get her conniving, and you can tell that she is interested in Guy, but only in the sense of what he can give her. She doesn't really care about him, not the way he cares about her.
As we will find out eventually in part 2.
Then we get to kind of a few more my English just left my brain.
That's fair. Side characters?
Plot points that wrap up, because there's definitely parts of this book where you feel like you can kind of close off. And our dude, Guy.
This is where he's driving her up to the castle, right?
No, they're walking about town, and he and Tessa coincidentally run into each other. Ooh. Because there's the interaction where he tells her, yeah, I'm doing this thing, and I'm getting married soon, and I'm flying my mother in, and she helps him pick out a gift for his mom, his foster mom, and she walks him through getting a photo taken and buying her a locket.
You missed the best part of this, because he's oh, I could get her something expensive, but I know she's not going to wear it because she's not a miserly woman, but I'm not going to wear fur in the middle of London. And she's well, there's only thing that a woman that loves you a lot would want. And he's
oh yeah,
what do you mean? I know, dude. And she's a picture of you in a locket. And Guy's dog, don't. No.
But he knows she's right.
Yep. And so he sits his pretty butt for a portrait. And then we switch to the mom's perspective. And the mom gets this. And she's like, I know that like someone that he loved convinced him to get this and send it to me. Like, I love this woman already.
And she thinks it's the fiance.
Yup. I love twists like that. Like,
pay attention to that part because, again, foreshadowing smacks you in the face.
Yup.
Fast forward a little bit. Tessa learns that the opera company has been hired. She hasn't quite put two and two together. She joins the opera company. They travel to the castle. They load up all their vehicles. And she still doesn't know, like, where she's going. She's, like, taking a nap in the car.
Yeah, she falls asleep.
And then the company, like, finally pulls up to the castle. Tessa disappears.
Yep.
She's whisked away by the castle staff because they're like, that's our princess. What are you doing with our princess?
I love that all of the people are, like, going apeshit because they're, like, a bunch of random people speaking some, like, village German just came in and took her, and we don't know where Tessa is, and, like, you give Tessa back.
And, like, the company doesn't know, it cannot function without her.
Yep.
She's that vital to, like, all of the little day-to-day things that have to be done. But she's gone.
Yep. Missing.
And that's kind of where we stop.
Oh, God. The queen of tension over here, Miss Jordan.
I'm
Cutting us
trying.
off. There's something just...
There's something about these books. Like,
I'm having a good time. I'm having, like, a hoo-hoo-hoo.
it's just... there is meaning behind every single plot point.
Yeah.
You can trace it back to what happens in the future. It's so refreshing.
Yes. Yeah. We like a man that plans. We like a Ibbotson who also plans.
Okay. We have one more part for this book.
From
So-
our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page.
Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Like and subscribe to us on YouTube or Patreon at Not Another Heroine to support our growing library and get access to exclusive bonus content.
Ready for the next page? We post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.